Hello, thank you for joining us today. X-Rite, Esko, Pantone, and Focus are gearing up to exhibit at drupa. We're excited to show you our packaging workflow and new color technologies. Our collective presence emphasizes our commitment to streamlining production, enhancing efficiency, and fostering sustainability in the packaging lifecycle. Throughout today's session, you'll hear from both X-Rite and Esko about the new innovations you can see if you join us at our booth at drupa. I'm John McCartney, Business Unit Director for Print and Packaging. With me is Tim Mao.
Hi, I'm Tim Mao, the Global Customer Solutions Manager here at X-Rite, and joining us remotely is Martin from Esko.
Hi, I'm Martin Cusack. I'm the actual product manager for color and digital within Esko.
We're really excited to be here with you today. But before we begin, we want to make sure that as questions arise, whether they're for X-Rite or Esko, that you submit those using the questions panel. We will gather those questions and save time at the end of our webinar to answer as many of them as possible.
So let's dive in. Managing packaging needs for your customers can be a challenge. You must deal with variability on substrate, ink, printing techniques, operator experience, and more. From design to production, we have solutions to help you streamline your print process. In fact, did you know that 9 out of the 10 leading consumer brands rely on X-Rite and Esko solutions? Packaging begins with an idea, but going from inspiration to a finished tangible product on the shelf requires collaboration across the supply chain. Brands and print buyers rely on their technology partners to help them achieve those goals. We're going to hear from Martin to talk about some Esko solutions and how they're helping brands to reduce time to market, improve their efficiency, enhance their sustainability goals. Martin, over to you.
Thanks, John. Our Web Center software is used by our brands. Here they build the project and go through the approval process. Color is, of course, a major part of that, and as brands want on-shelf consistency. In Web Center, they can select the color palette from our cloud for the designs. These could, of course, be either Pantone Live colors or customer libraries. All of this is spectral data, which brings more accuracy for all departments further down the process. We also have the ability to automatically switch out from the master to dependent libraries once the final process has been determined. The user can also view and approve this online using our cloud approval solution. As all of this data is stored on our S Cloud, multiple regions and sites can easily access this data. Once the job has been approved, the color definition is then handed over to prepress at the converter site. Here they would use our applications like ArtPro Plus. In ArtPro Plus, the user can easily simulate and visualize the printed result, whether this is printed in Flexo, digital, or any other process. This data can easily be communicated back to the different departments or regions using our color pre-flight solution, which then helps inform the customers of how the job will be printed, and it also helps manage the production schedule further upstream. All of this data is collected and shared, so we automatically build the color cert job for later on in production. Before we go into production, we also build the screens, curves, and profiles, whether this is actually CMYK or even extended gamma, in one print run using our print control wizard software. And of course, all of this is actually used in the actual X-Rite hardware. You will see all of this and more at our booth at drupa. I'll now hand it back to Tim to take you through the production schedule. Tim, over to you.
As we now move toward producing these print products, first thing we've got to be concerned with is the ink. And if you're doing a spot color or a brand color, it may require you to formulate ink with our products like ink formulation. Or we've got a new product being introduced at drupa called Autura Ink, which has new ways for you to easily onboard, easily formulate in a cloud-based solution. There's also ways that we can give you to quality control your incoming ink. If you've got someone else mixing your ink or you need to check your process colors, right? And those can be done with our handheld instruments like you see on the table here, connected to Color Cert as a solution for quality controlling the ink. Now, once we've got the ink ready to go, it's time to move on to the print production. We've got a number of things to consider, and let's start with what kind of printing process. You may be doing flexo or flexogravure, offset, digital, any of those kinds of things. And you may also be printing on a wide variety of substrates, be it paper, paperboard, corrugated, metal, film, any of those kinds of substrates. All of those things present unique needs. And lastly, you may have different ways that you want to perform or manage that production. You may want to take a fairly simple method that uses an instrument. You're going to take a measurement. The data you get on the display of the instrument is sufficient for your needs. But maybe you have a more connected solution you need. And that connected solution might include connecting to a piece of software like ColorCert that connects you just within your own plant, or maybe you have a global connection or a brand connection you need to do all the way up to a ColorCert scorecard. And we'll talk through all those different pieces. So starting with the instrument, we've got a different group of instruments that can be used depending upon what kind of substrates you're measuring on, and variability within the instruments. So if you're doing narrow web label and you have a very small color bar or no room for a color bar, we have devices that have very small measurement areas that we can use to capture that. But you might also be measuring on corrugated, where you need a large area of measurement because the variability in that corrugated substrate, you want to be able to capture that, the larger area of measurement. So we do that kind of thing with different types of instruments made to match what you need. Then, if you want to use just the instrument and get the data, great, you're good to go. But if you need to be connected, because maybe you're being asked to match and measure against Pantone colors, so you need access to Pantone Live. You're using ColorCert because ColorCert is where your brand is supplying you with a job that defines all the colors that you're printing in that print job, and you need to measure all of those. You've got tolerances around each thing, whether it's the spot colors, your process colors, your dot gains, your undertones, any of those things, right? We can capture all of that in ColorCert, and then ultimately, with that captured information, report that to the ColorCert scorecard. And what the ColorCert scorecard does for you is several things. Number one, if you're a printer and you're not doing work for a brand, maybe you care about just being sure that from plant to plant, or even from press to press to press, you're producing the same color the same way. What the scorecard does is it allows you to upload a scorecard, a report of the print job that was run, and all of the metrics associated with it. There's an overall quality score, but there's also individual metrics there. And so it allows you to start digging into the details, not just a quality score of, yeah, it's good or it's bad, but okay, it's good, but I want to make it better. What specific metrics are where I'm scoring lower and I need to focus? And it can help you understand the why of color not being good if you've got poor color metrics. So the scorecard can help you do that. Now, the scorecard can also help you if you're supplying a brand program. So the brand may have access to their scorecard where they're seeing all of their suppliers reporting all of their individual results as well. And it allows them to manage a global print quality program to ensure that when it gets to the shelf, everything on the shelf looks the same, regardless of where it was printed or by whom. So the ColorCert scorecard is really the thing that helps tie all of this together. And there's an added benefit with a ColorCert scorecard in that we can connect it back to Esko. So let's go back to Martin to hear about that.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. As we said at the beginning, that Web Center will actually be able to actually go and create these. It builds the job, it collates all the information together, it puts all the actual color data in place, and actually distributes this around the globe. What Tim has actually just referred to now is all that data has actually been measured, but we can actually return that data back to Web Center for those global brands. So this was quite a task previously, as print samples were being shipped around the globe. People were either getting on planes and flying across the globe to actually do press approvals. All of this was time consuming and extremely costly. But brands still want confirmation and verification on how their job was produced. And our solution here that Tim has just described helps close the loop in terms of color communication.
Thanks, Martin. Tim, that concludes the products that we have to discuss today. If you'd like to learn more or to see them in action, please join us at our booth. We're also excited to announce today that we will be unveiling an innovation lab at drupa. There, you can come and see firsthand all of the new products, innovations, technologies that X-Rite and Esko will be launching in the near future. There are limited spots available, so please reserve yours early.
Thanks, John. And before we jump to questions, we'd like to ask you one via poll. So a poll is going to pop up to ask you if you'd like more information from either X-Rite or Esko. Whether you're going to be at drupa or not, we'll be happy to assist you. So look for that poll, and we'll be right back.
It's about color, formulating your unique color. Color that's developed quickly and efficiently. Color that meets specification from ideation to creation. Atura ink gives you the ultimate color in your ink kitchen, accelerating development from minutes down to seconds and streamlining workflows. Here are 5 ways Atura can simplify ink formulation. Atura provides a secure, centralized platform that can be accessed from any location at any time. And with automatic updates, you'll always have the latest software. As an integrated formulation and QC platform, with access to Pantone Live, you can seamlessly share data between work streams. We understand the importance of keeping your press running. With the quick correction feature, you can get your color back within specification next to the press. Operators can confidently identify color variation using Best Match to determine how to get the right color by modifying film thickness or color strength. And errors are costly. By setting up formulation templates with predetermined settings for specific users, you reduce mistakes, enhance repeatability, and increase productivity. Ink innovation begins with Atura. So, take control of your formulation and color quality today with this comprehensive solution. To learn more, contact us and see how Atura can revolutionize your business.
Welcome back. So we've compiled your questions thus far, and I'm going to read them one at a time, and then we as a panel will work together between Martin, John, and myself to give you the answer that you're looking for. So our first question, how do I ensure that my measurements are consistent throughout my global supply chain? Guys, you want me to take it? I'm happy to. So X-Rite has a product called Net Profiler. It's a product that you can use with your devices, right? It's a way to measure a set of color standards that we provide with your device. The device is tested to see if it meets the specifications, and if not, Net Profiler will actually create, as its name sounds, a profile for your device to adjust or tweak the way that that device is measuring. If you run Net Profiler across all of your devices across a global supply chain, you're ensuring that all of those devices are meeting that tolerance of devices to measure to the centroid. So Net Profiler is really the answer to help keeping all of those devices reading the same. All right, guys, second question. I use Esko Web Center in my pre-press and X-Rite Color Cert in the press room. Is there a way to connect them together? Martin?
Yeah, we have a solution called Color Trace. So Color Trace actually is exactly as described here in that question, is the case of what we can actually go and do is Color Trace will actually build the actual color cert job for you, distribute that file to the global network, and actually then be able to for the user to actually pick it up. So we can actually send it straight to the actual press room. It contains all the actual data in there for the actual for the production, whether that be a profile, whether with the tolerances, all the data is actually included with the job data. And that data then finally, once it's actually been produced, can actually go all the way back to Web Center. So giving that customer the visibility of the actual how the job was produced.
Great. So it's a full circle.
Yeah, it's a complete closed loop solution.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. All right, our next question. I have a customer asking for a Pantone color on a certain substrate that is not achievable. How do I deal with that? John?
Typically, when you're finding challenges there, hitting a Pantone color or a PMS, you want to use Pantone Live. The Pantone Live is a digital color standard that represents that PMS on a variety of different substrates. So if the brand has one supplier printing on, say, a coated stock, another supplier printing on, say, corrugated, they can give them the same Pantone number, has a different LAB that they're targeting, but that helps them achieve the same color that appears to the human eye on different substrates. Pantone Live's the answer there.
Yep. Yeah. And we have what, 40 plus dependent libraries, something like that are not only the different substrates, but even different printing processes and different kinds of inks, right? So you could have a UV ink on this kind of substrate. Here's the Pantone Live for that versus a Flexo, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Lots of different ways. So Pantone Live is really Pantone, not just in one form, but all those forms.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a great solution. What's unique about your Esko color management tools? Well, Martin?
Yeah, again, a good question. The actual, our solution is actually fully integrated. So what does that mean? It just means a case of that if you imagine you've actually got your the user actually doing all or collating all the data for your profiles, your ink books, etc. But as all our applications are connected to that color hub, if you like, it's seamlessly going to be actually sort of distributed to all these applications. So if you're in pre-press or if you're actually in the plate room or wherever you may be, you may even be on the brands actually being able to pick up these actual colors. Everything is actually connected to the platform. So again, the software will be able to sort of pick up this spectral data and be able to easily distribute it across to these actual applications. So I think that's what makes it quite unique. Instead of just being an island of actually just being able to do something, it's fully integrated in all our applications.
Great. All right, let's see our next. I need to do both spot measurements and scanning. Do you have an instrument that does both? Why, yes, we do. This Exact 2 as an example, right? I have the ability to take a spot measurement and get on a specific area and take a measurement. It also has a scan mode, and you can see as I put it on the table here and put it on top of this color bar, I can literally press the measurement button and scan that whole bar in. So if you're in an environment where you need to do both, we have that kind of a solution. Exact 2 is a really great answer to being able to fit that mixed environment of both spot and scanning devices.
Yep, and so not only to do the scanning, but it speeds up the process, right? They don't have to do individual spot measurements for all those patches. They can just do it all in one scan, right, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it may be that maybe you only care about some of the patches in that, but it's still faster to scan it and then look at the patches you care about than it is to hunt and peck spot measurement, right? We can do it either way, but the scanning is just a big advantage. Yeah, absolutely.
Got it.
Absolutely. How can your solutions help converters reduce waste?
Do you want me to take that one, Tim?
Sure, give it a shot.
Yeah, so we actually have a couple of solutions there for you. So one of them is, if you imagine it from a fixed palette perspective. So again, we know that the actual print runs are getting shorter and shorter. So it's a bit of a challenge then for customers to be able to sort of manage this. So there's an increase in fixed pallets. So again, with our Equinox solution, what we can actually go and do is we can actually make sure that we can actually plan these jobs together, and customers can actually then start to mix it up. So instead of actually just doing CMYK and a Pantone, for example, and actually then having to start, they can gang up different jobs together. And this enables them to actually get a lot more productivity throughout their shifts, throughout their plants, but it still maintains the accuracy of matching to that specification. So it's not just a matter of, just giving them more production, but it's reassurance that they can actually hit that specific target at the same time. But in doing so, it does enable them to reduce waste in terms of that waste may be material, it may be ink, it may be time. So all of this is very valuable in that respect. So that's one example. Another one is a case of, again, people actually want fingerprint data, so we don't want to keep on going back to press because it's quite costly. So within our print control wizard software on the Flexo side, we can build the screens, the curves, and the profile all in one print run. And whether that be CMYK or ECG, it's all the same. So that's another way of actually saving waste.
Great. As you were saying that and we're talking about ink, it brought to mind, we can help even on the ink formulation side, right? Everybody knows that one of the things you've got to deal with is press return, right? The ink that's left over after the press run. What are you going to do with that? Well, our ink formulation software and the new Atura that you can come see in Drupa, right? Those pieces of software allow you to take that press return ink and then convert it, add something to it to make it into the next color that you need to produce. So that helps reduce that inventory of press return ink that you've got to manage, which is a very costly thing to manage, right? So,
and then for our offset customers, we have our IntelliTrax 2 scanning solution, together with closed loop and inky presets, can reduce the make-ready time, so you're not wasting the press time or substrate. You can get up to sellable color faster.
Yeah. Lots of ways we're helping you with that. All right, so the last one kind of ties into what you were just talking about, John. I'm dealing with shorter press runs and more turnover, causing us to lose time and money. What solutions do you have to solve this? Right?
Right, yeah, exactly. It depends on the printing process type, but an offset in particular, where you have the press sheets that are coming out, our IntelliTrax solution scans those color bars faster. Together with our closed loop partners, Rutherford, we can preset your ink keys on the job. We can tie it back into the press so it's automatically adjusting the ink keys while it's running. And all the operators have to do is take the press sheet, put it on the press console, scan the bar, and the rest of it is automated. So that's one area where we're reducing.
Right. I think also, even with the handheld, whether you're scanning or spot measuring, right? The ability to use that device with ColorCert in a make-ready kind of mode, right, to help you do that more quickly, because you're always going to have to make ready when you're changing to a new job. But the faster you can do that and get running and get on color faster, we help there. We've got a feature in the devices and in the software called Best Match, right? I think that's a huge thing to help people get there faster. And Best Match simply tells you, yeah, your color is off by this much, but you can correct it, and maybe you can get it within tolerance by simply adjusting the density of that ink, right? Versus, no, it's off, and no matter what you do to the density, you're never going to get there. Your ink, the color of the ink is a problem. We help you determine that very quickly. That helps you get ready faster. That helps you printing faster.
That's a tremendous feature as well, Tim, because again, if we talk about the users and the time that they actually have, and as I said before, production is key. So any information like that is absolutely valuable, and it's a godsend to people to actually get that information.
So unfortunately, we're out of time for today to answer your questions, but please know, if you submitted a question, we will reach out to you to follow up and provide you with an answer.
Thanks for joining us today. We're excited for Drupa. We're excited to see you. Come stop by our booth. We're in Hall 8B, booth A12. And after this webinar, you will receive an email with more details. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.